Good evening, everyone. This is Arcacia Cox with Peoria Area Association of Christian Homeschoolers, and we're here talking about Transformed, our homeschooling convention that is coming up March 17th through the 19th. So March 17th is our new to homeschool night, and then March 18th and 19th is our convention. We're really excited about Transformed. If everyone saw our Facebook Live that we did earlier this week, we're actually giving away a free book for everyone who registers. We have 46 of them. So first 46 families that register from now until March 10th, when registration closes, they get a free book from Fun Schooling. So we're really excited about that. But tonight we have Hal and Melanie Young. They are our keynotes for convention weekend. We're really excited to have you guys here. Greetings, Hal and Melanie.
Hello, it's good to be here.
It sure is. We're so looking forward to being with you in Illinois.
Well, we're excited to have you. It's actually been a few years since we've had you. So what have you guys been up to lately?
Well, I think our book, our book, Love, Honor, Virtue, is new since we were in.
Yes.
And
we've created a subscription box, Craftsman Crate, that teaches artisanal craft skills. We're going to be bringing those. We're going to be bringing those when we come. And
I think No Longer Little is new since we were in.
I think so too. So No Longer Little is about parenting tweens and preteens. Mm-hmm. And Love, Honor, Virtue is about sexuality for teenage guys. And they both have been winning awards and become bestsellers. And so I'm excited about bringing those to Illinois.
Well, we're definitely excited to have you guys. Now, you guys are from Raising Real Men is your ministry that you guys have. You guys are podcasters, you're writers, speakers. We are really lucky to have you, and we're glad that you guys are coming back. So your keynotes that we're going to be talking about first here in this interview is the first one we're talking about is freedom from fear. And I think that is a great topic for the times that we are living in now, with all the COVID going on, with uncertainty. I mean, we just had the whole news come in about Ukraine and Russia the past couple of days here. So there's a lot of uncertainty and a lot of fear can creep up. So why don't you tell us a little bit about that with homeschooling?
Well, fear leads you to make poor decisions. Mm-hmm. And yet it's one of the big motivating factors in the past couple of years. You know, you mentioned some of the things going on, but fear enters homeschooling even in normal times, where we're so afraid that our kids are going to miss something, or that they're not going to learn the same thing that their neighbors learn, that we can be driven by that in our decision making instead of trusting the Lord and focusing on what's really important in our homeschooling. Mm-hmm.
That's very true. And so that's a great topic for now, because I think as homeschoolers, we can compare ourselves to other families, and that brings in fear, like we're not measuring up. And then because we're responsible for our kids' education, we can also feel like failures at times too, like we're failing our kids in some way. So I definitely think that's a good topic, and I can't wait to hear about it, because I know that a lot of us deal with fear, and it's just one of those things that we deal with in normal circumstances, like you mentioned. And right now we got crazy circumstances going on. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So let's talk a little bit about your next workshop that you guys are bringing. It's called Never Give Up, which to me is very encouraging. I know I'll get into a little bit more a few questions later on here about this topic, but give us a little bit of synopsis about what Never Give Up is about.
Well, it's meant to be an encouragement. It's meant to call the mothers and the fathers to be confident in this decision that God has brought them to, and to keep moving forward even when the difficult times come, because they will come.
Yeah, difficult times are going to come. And sometimes people say, why is it hard? Why it shouldn't be this hard to homeschool my kids? I think it's because we're in a battle for their souls. Homeschooling is about so much more than getting math and spelling done.
Right.
It's about relationships and discipleship. So we're going to face opposition. How do we keep going through those hard times? How do we, in fact, make those hard times good times for our family?
Definitely. Our motto here at PAACH is learning as families, growing as a community, and glorifying Christ. And it's definitely challenging. It can be challenging homeschooling our kids and discipling our kids. And so this is a really great topic. I kind of want to touch a little bit about, I know sometimes we have parents that say, well, I'm going to homeschool up through 8th grade, but once they get into high school, I'm going to turn them over to the high school and let them go in public school, because they're either going to miss out or it's going to be too hard, or I'm not qualified to teach high school. What kind of encouragement can you give to our parents who are in those situations?
I think it comes
Yeah.
right back down to fear. I think
Yeah.
we look at it and we say, oh no, I can't do history, or I can't do English, or I can't do math on the high school level. When in reality you can. There's a ton of help. And homeschooling, to give up before high school, is throwing away some of the best times of homeschooling, because your kids are so independent at that stage. They can do a lot of the work themselves, but the discussions, the relationship stuff is so rich during those years.
Well, the discipleship is such a critical thing. It always is. But those last few years that they're in your home are crucial years for building into the lives and the hearts of your children and guiding them to taking those first steps into adulthood. You really don't want to give up that opportunity to say, well, we laid a good foundation and now we'll just let whoever's assigned do the building on it. We really want to grasp this opportunity that God's given us and recognize that, what, sometimes you don't realize how much you can do until you really undertake it.
Yeah.
That's true. Now I want to touch a little bit about our COVID homeschoolers, because we do have a group of homeschoolers that have started homeschooling because of COVID, because of certain situations that have happened in the public school. And so they've never really thought of themselves as homeschoolers. They just decided that this was their option because of what was going on in the school system and what was going on in the government. Can you talk to a little bit about our homeschoolers that are homeschooling just because of COVID? Can you probably, what I want to say is maybe expand their horizon a little bit about other things that they could be thinking about during this time of homeschooling just because COVID's going on, with a plan of, I'm eventually going to put my kids back in public school.
Well, first off, I say welcome to the party. I mean, it's great to have all of these new people coming in, and sometimes God puts us through different challenges to push us in the direction He wants us to go. But now that you're here, there's so many things that are available to help you to make this transition and to take on this role. You don't have to do it all alone out in the wilderness in isolation.
You don't have to do it like the schools did it.
Ooh.
I think that sometimes, again, out of fear, we try to do things just the same way that the kids were doing in school, when it's not necessary. When a lot of the stuff they were doing is busy work to keep them busy while the other kids are being taught, or it's things that can be done in a more fun, a more engaging, more personal way. And so I would say enjoy the freedom while you're here. And in my experience, most people who make it through a full year of homeschooling never look back because there are just so many benefits to the freedom and the closeness of being together as a family.
Mm-hmm.
That is true. Now, can you give us some examples? I mean, I have tons for my own personal homeschooling experience, but I want to hear some of your examples of when you mentioned that homeschooling is not necessarily looking like a public school or schooling, but how the public school does. Give us some personal examples of what that might look like for instance, in your family, what that looked like.
Well, for one thing, a lot of grades at once in our family. We've got 8 kids.
Yes.
And so, we had opportunities to be teaching kids at different grade levels at the same time. And it's amazing what the younger ones will learn just overhearing what the older ones are being taught.
Well, you don't have to teach each child 7 different subjects. There's no reason you can't teach everybody history together. Everybody under high school can learn history together, science together, art, music,
right.
And that builds relationship between the kids too, because the kids are having the same experiences. So I remember one time we were studying marine life, and we were on the way we were going to the beach for vacation. Now, I'm not thinking school, but we've all had these similar experiences. And so we're driving by and Hal says, look, there's an aquarium. We ought to go to the aquarium. We were just studying that. And we're walking on the beach, and one of the kids found a whelk about that big and said, hey, let's look at this. Let's study it, and brought it back to the cottage. And everybody was engaged genuinely, organically, in what we had learned, because we'd all been learning it together. And so it became part of our life. It became a lifestyle of learning and not just a workbook assignment,
Right. Well, those hands-on experiences are the greatest, and then brings the education and the learning experience to life for the kids. I love those experiences, and I've had many with my own kids.
Mhm.
Well, let's go, talk a little bit, touch bases a little bit about some of your workshops. Now, we don't want to give everybody too much information because we want them to come to convention, right?
Yes.
Right.
But you guys are doing several workshops here, so I'm just going to go and list them real quickly. And if you can just maybe tell us one or two little tidbits about some of the workshops, maybe not go into all the details, but maybe
All
just
right.
a couple of tidbits about some of them.
Will do.
So you have No Longer Little, Boys and
Oh,
Media, Getting Kids to Work, Sanity in the Freezer. Okay, that's going to be a very applicable one for
okay, so
homeschoolers.
slow down because that's about all that will fit in my brain. And then we'll talk about the others, okay?
Okay, No Longer Little is about the mystery and the challenge of middle schoolers, those preteen kids who have something has happened and they suddenly are not the little kid that you were raising.
Yeah, they climb on an emotional roller coaster and invite you to join them. Do not get a ticket for that ride. Instead, come to the workshop.
Right. Mhm.
Oh, let's see. What else did she mention? Getting kids to work. We're going to talk about how do you raise diligent kids? How do you get them to do chores? How do you get them to be involved in being producers and not just consumers?
Mm.
Right.
I like that statement. Producers, not consumers.
Yeah. And the session on media.
Oh, that's a good one.
Okay. That is something we're surrounded with, and more so than it was so much a part of our lives before the pandemic. And now, after all the shutdowns and all of the distraction and the worries and school online and everything else, we are totally swamped with media. How do we handle this in our families in a productive way?
And we can't just cut it out.
Right.
For our teens, a lot of times that may be the only socialization some of them get during these times when things are shut down. But how can we use media like a Christian? How do we manage the temptations that are out there? Porn, internet addiction, gaming addiction. How do we handle those temptations and use it like a believer? That's what that one's about.
Well, they're all great workshops, and we didn't mention a few of them because we want you guys to come to convention and hear Hal and Melanie in person because they're great speakers. So you guys, I think it's like 6 or 7 different workshops, plus you're doing 2 keynotes. We're really excited to have you guys come back for convention. It's less than 3 weeks away, I think it is, that you guys will be joining us. I mean, it's coming right up, right? Yeah. It's coming right up. Yep. So we definitely want to thank you guys for coming tonight and talking with us, giving us a little bit of a taste of what you're going to be bringing to convention. Again, Transformed PAACH Homeschooling Convention is March 17th through the 19th. March 17th is the New to Homeschooling Night, and then March 18th and 19th is our convention, and we're really excited to have all of our great, wonderful speakers there. Everyone who registers, we have two giveaways going on this week. So everyone who registers by midnight tomorrow will be in a giveaway for a free book from Laura Booz. It's a great book. And then everyone who registers from now until March 10th gets an opportunity to have a free book. We have 46 brand new books from Fun Schooling that were donated. So the first 46 families that register, if we get that many, 46 families that register from now until March 10th will get a free book. Everybody likes free stuff, right, Melanie? I mean, when you were homeschooling, you loved those free opportunities, didn't you?
Still do.
We still do. So definitely jump on over to our website. It's www.paach.org. That's PAACH.org. And thank you guys for joining us tonight.
Oh, thank you. We can't wait to see you guys in 3 weeks. It's going to be fun.
3 weeks and counting.
And I think you'll find some practical and encouraging help on your homeschool journey.